Now, welcome back. Action SA has tabled a motion of no confidence against the sitting mayor of the city of Johannesburg Metro. Now, Thapelo Ahmad is, of course, the mayor in question, and this follows an interview here on Morning Live last Friday, where the mayor revealed that he's been in a meeting with an unnamed company and that he has managed to secure a prospect of a 9.5 billion rand loan for service delivery, technology and a smart city. Now, responding to media queries, ANC caucus leader and Joburg City Finance MMC Dada Morero said that he too found out on social media what Ahmad had said in the conversation with regard to the potential funding. Now, according to media reports, Morero has reportedly said that the mayoral committee is due to meet on Thursday and that Ahmad will be expected to explain the nature of that loan. Morero was unavailable for this morning's interview, but Action SA's Gauteng chairperson and Joburg caucus leader Funzi Ngobeni is in studio with us to talk more about this. Mr. Ngobeni, thanks so much for your time. Welcome to Morning Live.
Thank you for having me, Sakina.
So you were supposed to basically institute the motions of no confidence against not only the mayor but also the Speaker of Council yesterday. Did you in fact go through with that?
Yes. Thank you very much for the opportunity once again. We have submitted our motions yesterday before the deadline of 12 o'clock midnight. And we submitted it physically. We went to the office. It was signed off that it was received. But just to make sure, we also submitted it by email to the Speaker because she was not in her office. So we have ticked that box. We are now waiting for the programming committee meeting that will be on the 17th of April for the motion to be considered by that committee and then to be sent through to council, which is on the 25th of April.
So the reasons for the motions of no confidence against the Speaker and the Mayor?
Yeah, look, I mean, we have been really observing, what's happening in the city. I think you'll remember, Sakina, we were the first political party when Thapelo was elected to wish him well. We were quite clear that we are going to be a constructive opposition. We're not going to disrupt him in council. We're not going to do funny things that they always do to other leaders of council. And we have been doing that in council. We have supported some of his reports that came to council for approval. The appointment of the city manager is one of them. And that to show that we have been very constructive. But we have been quite worried with the service delivery, that's the lack of service delivery on the ground. Recently, there was a water outage across the city, and the mayor and his team held a press conference, to provide some solutions or interventions. And we watched with disdain that the entire press conference, they were blaming rainwater, blaming residents, and all the kinds of things. And there were no solutions on the table. It's about 70 days or so of the mayor in office. We still have not seen a strategic plan of how he's going to turn around, the service delivery in the city. And I think the recent interview was really a confirmation of our concerns. Already we were putting questions together that we were going to pose in council. And when this happened, and we thought maybe questions are not enough. Let's use another mechanism, which is a motion of no confidence. And we think that is the right way to do. So that's really we have lost confidence in him. I think we quietly say that he doesn't have the capacity to be able to lead the city.
Please explain that a little further.
Look, I mean, this is not the first interview that you have had with Thapelo on the station and other stations. I think his first interview, a lot of people ask questions. What is this mayor's plan? When his initial plan was that he's going to deal with issues of potholes, which is a really concerning issue. But the biggest issues that we have in the city includes the issue of water, includes issues of infrastructure, vandalism, includes issues of load shedding, where the previous mayor, Popalatso, was coming up with a plan of how we can be able to intervene on behalf of the city on the load shedding matter. We have not had any of those interventions. When they came into power, they complained about finances of the city. To this day, nothing has changed. So there's no capacity, and you see that even in the leadership of the city. Tapelo doesn't know what MMC of Finance is doing. MMC of Finance doesn't know what Tapelo is doing. There's no coordination of plans that are going to actually rescue us from the situation that we are in. So we think it doesn't have the capacity, and it's not equipped to lead such a big city. And it's interesting to note that parties that voted for him, like the PA, have already indicated that they made a mistake. We didn't make a mistake, but we wished him well. And we said we're going to work with him hand in hand so that we can stabilize the city. But clearly it doesn't seem that he's able to do that.
For the benefit of the viewers at large and the residents of the city of Johannesburg in particular, what is the city's financial position?
Look, you'll remember the 2 billion loan that ANC and their partners opposed when we were in government. Immediately after they removed us, they asked it to be approved, which it was approved. I mean, it was part of the funding plan of the city. It was nothing outside of the box, nothing outside of the plans of the city. It didn't indicate that the city was in huge distress financially. It indicated that there are interventions that need to be made. The collection rate was not up to par, and we had to make sure that we augment the city's finances by borrowing from the market.
But let's cut the fluff. You're saying the city is not in huge financial distress, but what does that mean? How much do you actually have in the coffers of the city of Johannesburg today, and how much do you actually owe your service providers?
Well, we have not been provided with the latest report, Sakina. I think the last report that was provided to council was the report that was compiled by the previous administration, which was around last year, November. So we don't have the latest stats in terms of where the finances of the city are. We are going to be receiving new reports that will come to council on the 25th of August. We'll be able to then see what exactly has been happening. But what we know for sure, that the collection rate it's not close to 91%, which is what it's supposed to be, and which is something that we were also struggling about when we left government, and we can't say it's a new phenomenon.
I was going to ask that. Well, what was the collection rate with the previous administration?
It was sitting at around 80%. I mean, if you look at the target of 91%, it's way below. We were not doing very well in terms of collection, and not only collection, we were not also sending bills out. And those are challenges that are sitting in a particular department that needs to be resolved.
So let me ask this. So councillors in the city of Johannesburg, you are there, you approve this 2 billion rand loan, which is, of course, shrouded in a lot of shenanigans because the one administration tries to put it on the table. There's opposition to it. The next administration comes in, they approve the very same loan, and then the party that put it on the table initially cries foul because now they feel that the term of repayment is now being adversely impacted, etc., etc. So you guys carry on there in council, doing all sorts of funny things. The city residents, of course, are none the wiser. But I still want to know, given that 2 billion rand loan was approved, what were the terms and conditions of that? And also, why don't you know, as the caucus leader of Action SA, what the city's finances are currently? Do you not have access to that at any given point?
No, we don't have access to that at any given point.
Why not?
We rely on reports that will come to council. So the city, by legislation, is required to report to council each and every third month. They need to bring a report to council that speaks on the collection of revenue, the expenditure, and that has to happen every month. But also they need to report to National Treasury and the Provincial Treasury.
But as the caucus leader, can you not go and say, listen, we've just approved this 2 billion rand loan. I'd like to have a look. I'm the caucus leader for Action SA. I want to see what's actually going on with the finances of the city. Do you actually have to wait for the 3 months, or can you go and ask for an update?
No, we can. We can on monthly basis when we go to council, we can be able to get those reports. But you don't just get these reports by asking for them from the MMC. You follow processes of council. You ask questions in council. You put motions to say this report has not come to council. Can it come through in the next month? So the legislation doesn't allow you to go into the city manager's office and say, give me a report, let me see what is the finances of the city. You need to follow processes, otherwise you will be accused of interference with the administration.
How are you interfering by just asking, what is the financial position of the city today? How is that interference?
No, it's unfortunately the law doesn't allow you to
Which law? I want to look this up.
No, but it's as a council, Sakina, you can't instruct administration. You need to follow processes.
But you're not instructing anybody for anything. You are asking.
Yes.
As the caucus leader of Action SA in the city of Johannesburg, I would like to see what our financial position is today.
No, you can ask. You can ask unofficially, but you need official reports to say these are the reports that we received in council. And that's what I'll report to you in the public television to say officially, this is the status of the city's finances, looking at the documents that will be supplied to me. But you can ask, you can unofficially ask officials and get the details, but that will be unofficial. And I won't come to a national television and communicate unofficial conversation that I'm having with officials of the city. So we need to follow all these processes, and we will definitely be doing so. We will be asking difficult questions. We'll be asking these reports to come if they don't come. There's a public participation currently underway, the IGP and the budget that has been tabled by the city that is currently under public participation. Residents need to scrutinize those reports and see what has been planned by this administration for the next 3 years. And that is what we are doing as well as a caucus, and we'll be reporting to residents on what we are actually seeing on those reports.
So in the interest of time, let's move on to Colleen Makubele, the Speaker of Council. The motion of no confidence in her. Why is that?
Well, Colleen has been quite a disappointment since he, even when he was the chair of chair. He is the same person that presided over an illegal meeting that elected Dada Morero as the mayor. Later on, that election of the mayor was then reversed by court. Recently, he submitted a leave of absence. He was away from council for about two days when he was supposed to chair that meeting. He was seen in Tshwane where he was trying to sort out issues of cope there, and while we were waiting for him in council, but we believe that she's dishonest. Yes, she has misled council, and her conduct it goes against the code of conduct of councillors, and we think that she doesn't deserve to be in that seat. And that is why we think that we need to put a motion of no confidence against her.
So who do you think deserves to lead the city of Johannesburg? Because at some point, the coalition consisted of parties that had ousted the ANC. That ground was lost because of internal wrangling amongst the coalition partners. So who deserves to lead the city?
Look, I think our view is that we need to put a coalition back, the Rainbow Coalition, that's what we're calling it. And we hope that other parties like the PA will come on board and support us. Sakina, I think the most important thing it's not who lead the coalition. It's how the individual that are put into responsibilities of leading the coalition handle themselves. I think there's a lot of maturity that is required now by political parties and political leaders, and I think that is possible. We have done it before. The 3 years that Ntate Mashaba was the mayor in the city of Johannesburg, we had quite a stable coalition. And I think it was because of honesty, it was because of being respecting each other. It doesn't matter whether you've got 1 vote or 2 votes. We need to make sure that we respect each other and we are able to do so. So we are going to be talking to all parties now that we have submitted our motion to see which political parties will support us, not only the PA, but even other parties that are already in the coalition. We do know that.
But with all the name calling going on what basis do you think they would come back?
No, it's name calling can happen. We do name calling from time to time in the political space, but
isn't that what broke the coalition to begin with?
No, I think we need to be more mature than that. What is important is to respect each other. I mean, if I don't want to work with you, Sakina, I must inform you that, unfortunately, I'm not going to get into a coalition with you. But not to belittle you and afterwards to insult you, it's not necessary. It's
But the
important that we
DA is
must,
very clear, as the leader of your coalition, that they will not work with the EFF. John Steenhuisen, during his acceptance speech, where his first speech as the newly elected leader of the DA, basically singled out the EFF as enemy number one. So how then do you go to council and try to work on a coalition with them?
Yeah, no, we'll talk to other parties, Sakina. I think I've not mentioned the EFF yet, but we also have a position on the ANC. We will not work with the ANC. And we have made that very, very clear that they are the number one enemy of Action SA. We want this country to move forward without the ANC. But we'll approach other parties, the PA, the Democratic Alliance, Freedom Front, and others. I think we can be able to build a solid coalition with those parties going into the 2024 elections. And I think that's what we are going to try and do. And other parties, small parties like AIC and Good Party and others that can come on board and assist us to keep ANC out of power.
All right, we're going to have to leave it there. Action SA's Gauteng chairperson and caucus leader Funzi Ngobeni on the motion of no confidence tabled against the sitting mayor of the city of Johannesburg, Tapelo Ahmed, and also Colleen Makubele, who is the Speaker of Council. Let us know what your thoughts are at Morning Live SABC.